From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the evening news update. President Trump is moving oversight of the U.S. Department of Education programs of special education and civil rights out of the Ed Department. President Donald Trump's administration is further dismantling the Education Department, moving oversight of special ed and civil rights to other agencies. The Department of Justice will take on enforcement of civil rights in education, while the Department of Health and Human Services will oversee special education. With the transfers announced Tuesday, the vast majority of education department functions now have been assigned to other agencies. Trump, a Republican, campaigned on shutting down the education department, saying he would move education back to the states where it belongs. While only Congress can close the department, Trump's education secretary, Linda McMahon, a billionaire and former CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment, has formed agreements with other federal agencies to handle much of her department's work. McMahon said the agreements align federal responsibilities with the agencies best positioned to support them. The Trump administration has been clear: as we scale back federal micromanagement when it hinders success, we are equally committed to bolstering the efficacy of federal oversight where it is essential, McMahon said in a written statement. Advocates said the changes would create uncertainty around services relied upon by millions of families. As is too often the case, traditionally underserved students, including students with disabilities, Black and Latino students, multilingual learners, students from low-income backgrounds, and students in rural communities, will bear the greatest burden created by this reckless decision, to which the disability and civil rights communities have already been vehemently opposed, said a written statement from Ed Trust, a Washington, D.C. based think tank that advocates for educational equity. In other news, a tentative deal to end the war makes it reasonable, to ask how soon prices will drop for gasoline, groceries, airline tickets, and other items that got more expensive during the conflict in Iran. Not so fast, experts say. Even after oil starts flowing from the Middle East, it could take a while for consumers to see a difference at local fuel pumps, supermarkets, and other places they shop, according to economists and industry analysts. Fighting over the Strait of Hormuz disrupted not only supplies of crude and refined fuel, but also the supply chains for fertilizer, food, footwear, and helium, of all things. Businesses expect higher costs to linger, which means their customers might need to prepare for that too. It is not clear, despite 3 months of war, that anything has been achieved that makes the American consumer better off. Brett House, an economist who teaches at Columbia Business School, said, in fact, by almost any measure, not just the American consumer, but the world is worse off as a result of this attack. And finally, a federal judge who was disciplined after an investigation found that she had sex with a police officer in her chambers and attended a partisan event, then lied when confronted with the allegations, has recused herself in a fight over Georgia election records after the U.S. Department of Justice raised questions about her ability to be impartial. The Justice Department sought to remove U.S. District Judge Eleanor Ross from the case, citing her reported attendance at an event for Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, who prosecuted President Donald Trump. Ross on Tuesday filed an order recusing herself, writing that she was doing so, quote, out of an abundance of caution for the potential perception of bias, end quote. The Justice Department had sued Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, seeking an unredacted statewide voter list, and Ross was presiding over that case. Both the Trump administration's present and Willis's past efforts have become heavily polarized, Ross wrote, explaining that she cannot discount that an objective observer might interpret her attendance at an event sponsored by Willis's campaign as support for the district attorney's position, even if she only went to see former colleagues. That's news at this hour. Our next news update will be at 11 p.m. From the PEP Radio Newsroom, I'm David Moore.